If you've got Fruit Loops in the cupboard, or a bag of Doritos, or a red Gatorade sitting in the door of your refrigerator, you were told those were banned. 6 of them weren't. One of them was. I'm going to tell you which one, and I'm going to give you the exact date, January 15th, 2027. And then I'm going to tell you why that date still doesn't get it off your shelf. Then I'm going to show you the 3 words printed on the front of your cereal box that are doing more damage than any of the 7 dyes I'm about to name. I'm Ray Hollis. I ran an independent grocery in Southern Ohio for 40 years. Every February, I built the end cap for the red candy myself, stacked it by hand, right inside the door where you'd walk past it. I never once turned a box over. 2 completely different things happened, and the news stacked them into one pile. The first is a rule. A rule is written down. It has a docket number and a date. Miss the date and the product is illegal. The second is a letter. A letter has a target and a press conference. Miss it and nothing happens. Nobody is fined. Nothing comes off any shelf. Both got announced under the same headline. Both got covered with the same word. That word was banned. Only one of them is. So here's your ruler for the next 20 minutes, and it's one question. Is there a date, and does missing it break the law? Yes, it's a rule. No, it's a letter. We're going to use that 7 times. Before we start, I want to say something plainly. I stocked every one of these. All of them. 40 years. The red candy in February, the orange crackers, the blue drink mix every summer when the pool opened. I built the displays. I faced the shelves. I ordered more when we ran low. I never read the back of a single box. Nobody told me to. Nobody told you either. You've been buying groceries the way a reasonable person buys groceries. Read the front, check the price, put it in the cart, go home and feed your family. That is not on you, friend. Nobody told you. Let's answer the question I opened with. The one that actually got banned is Red 3, FD&C Red No. 3. You may see it as erythrocene. It's a bright cherry red. It went into candy, frosting, maraschino cherries, some drink mixes, some baked goods. In January of 2025, the FDA revoked its authorization for use in food. That's a rule. It's in the Federal Register. Compliance date for food, January 15th, 2027. A separate date in 2028 for ingested drugs. Now, that date does not mean what you think it means, and this is the first thing in this video that surprised me. January 15th, 2027 is the day the FDA stops issuing certificates for Red 3. Every batch of certified color has to be certified by the agency, batch by batch. After that morning, no new batch gets one. Anything made with it from then on is adulterated, but product manufactured before that morning stays legal. The FDA says so directly. You can still see Red 3 on an ingredient list after the effective date, as long as that item was made before it. Think about what that means on a shelf. Candy sits 2 years. Frosting sits 18 months. A company can run Red 3 right up to January 14th, 2027, warehouse it, and sell it legally into 2029. The only real ban on this list doesn't clear a single shelf. It closes a certificate window. That's the whole shape of this story, friend. And we're only one item in. Now here's the part almost nobody explains. I'm going to be careful with it, because I am not a chemist, and I am not your doctor. I'll only tell you which agency concluded what, under which rule. The FDA did not revoke Red 3 because it decided the dye harms people. It revoked it because of one sentence written into the law in 1958. It's called the Delaney Clause, and it says this: if a color additive is found to cause cancer in humans or in animals, the FDA has to pull the authorization. Not may, has to. The agency isn't allowed to weigh anything. Red 3 caused cancer in male laboratory rats. The FDA has said the mechanism that produced it in those rats does not occur in people. Didn't matter. Delaney doesn't ask that question. So a sentence written before I finished high school is what finally moved that die. Not a study, not a hearing, a sentence with no give in it. That's arithmetic, not a conspiracy. And notice what that tells you. Red 3 sat on shelves for decades while everybody argued about it. What moved it wasn't the argument. It was a mechanism. The next 6 had all the arguing and none of the mechanism. If this is already useful, a quick like helps it reach more people who were told the same thing you were. April 22nd, 2025. A press conference. Health and Human Services and the FDA announced a plan to phase petroleum-based synthetic dyes out of the American food supply. 6 dyes named. Target, end of 2026. The coverage ran for a week and the word everybody used was banned. Here's what was actually announced. The agency asked the industry to stop. No proposed rule, no final rule, no docket, no compliance date, no penalty. As of this morning, the FDA has not initiated rulemaking against a single one of the 6. The regulations authorizing them are still on the books. Let's go through them. Backward, green 3 and blue 2. I'm putting them together and you'll see why. Green 3 is the mint gum, the lime gelatin, the green frosting on a grocery store sheet cake, the green candy shell. Blue 2 is a deeper, duller blue than the one you're picturing. Some candy, some baked goods, a lot of pill coatings, a lot of pet food. These 2 are the smallest of the 6 by volume. There simply isn't as much green and dark blue in the food supply as there is red and yellow, which is exactly why they matter here. Nobody is fighting over green 3. There's no lobby defending it. There's no shopper attached to it. If any dye on this list were going to quietly disappear on a voluntary request, it's these 2. 16 months after the announcement, both are still authorized, still legal, still on shelves. If the 2 easiest ones to give up are still sitting there, ask yourself what that says about the 4 that are hard. Number 5 is the hard one. And it's the one where I'm going to say something that sounds like I'm defending a candy company. Blue 1. Brilliant blue. The blue in the candy bag. The blue sports drink. The blue freezer pop. Blue frosting. The blue marshmallows in the cereal. This is where reformulation gets genuinely difficult. And I want to be fair, because this is the one place the industry has a real case. There is almost no natural blue on Earth that survives food processing. There's spirulina. There's butterfly pea flower. The FDA approved a blue from a red algae called Galdiaria in May of 2025, along with butterfly pea flower extract and calcium phosphate. 3 new natural colors, fast-tracked. Now here's how hard the problem really is, and this is happening this month. Mars is launching M&Ms colored from natural sources in August of 2026. First reformulation in that brand's 85-year history. They had to upgrade more than 300 manufacturing machines to do it. And at launch, blue and brown are missing. Not delayed on paper, missing from the bag. The problem of scaling spirulina blue is not solved. They say all 6 colors by 2028. That's a company doing something genuinely hard at real cost, and I'll give them that. But look at what it tells you, neighbor. If the largest candy company on Earth cannot produce a blue M&M without petroleum dye in the year 2026, then the end of 2026 target for the entire industry was never a deadline. It was a hope. The next 2 are 10 times the volume of blue 1, and the next one carries something in Europe that it doesn't carry here. Yellow 6, sunset yellow, orange really, despite the name. This is the orange dust on snack crackers. It's in powdered cheese, some sodas, candy corn, some baked goods, some sausage casings. High volume. This is in things people eat several times a week without ever thinking of them as candy. And here's what separates it from everything before it. The same product made by the same company sold in Europe carries a warning line on the package. Since 2010, under European regulation, a food sold there containing certain of these colors has to print a sentence saying it may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. That came out of research done at the University of Southampton. Europe didn't ban it, friend. Europe made them print it. And here's the part I want you to sit with. Over there, most companies stopped using the dye rather than print that one sentence on the box. The rule didn't remove the dye. The label removed the dye. Hold on to that. We come back to it at number 1, and it's the entire point of this video. 2 quick ones before we keep going, because they're the strangest things on this list. There are 2 more dyes the FDA is formally moving to revoke, not asking. Revoking. Orange B, approved for 1 use only. The casings on hot dogs and sausages. Citrus Red No. 2, approved for 1 use only. Spraying on the skin of oranges grown in Florida to make the peel look more orange, not the juice, the peel. So the fruit on the display table looks the way you expect a fruit to look. I sold produce for 40 years, and I could not have told you that. Nobody could have told me. Go check one box in your house right now and put the number you find in the comments. Red 40, yellow 5, whatever it is. I read them. I want to know what's actually in American cupboards this year, because I promise you nobody else is collecting that. Yellow 5, tartrazine, yellow 5 is everywhere. Boxed macaroni and cheese, snack chips, instant noodle seasoning, pickles, soft drinks, cereal, candy, some vitamins. It has the longest paper trail of anybody complaining about it. It's one of the Southampton colors carrying the European warning line. And in this country right now, it is fully legal with no rulemaking against it. Now I have to tell you something, and it's the least comfortable part of this video. We have been here before. June of 2015. General Mills pledged to remove synthetic dyes from its cereals by 2017. A few months later, Kellogg's pledged to remove artificial colors from its cereals and snacks by 2018. General Mills began selling cereals with artificial colors again in 2017. Shoppers said the colors looked wrong. Kellogg's missed 2018. Mars pledged in 2016 to pull artificial colors from its entire global portfolio within 5 years. In 2021, they walked it back for the American market and said they'd keep prioritizing Europe instead. Every one of those was voluntary. Every one was announced with exactly the confidence of the ones announced last year. Now, this round is much bigger, and I'll say so. Nestle, Kraft Heinz, General Mills, PepsiCo, Hershey, ConAgra, McCormick, J.M. Smucker, more than 20 companies. General Mills committed to its cereals and all K-12 school food by the middle of 2026, full portfolio by 2027, and one more, which is the one I'd actually bet on. Target told cereal brands it would only carry dye-free cereal starting the end of May 2026. Brands that didn't comply would come off the shelf, not because a retailer is more virtuous than a federal agency, because a retailer can pull your product on a Tuesday. An agency has to write a rule. The next one is the biggest dye in the country, and the only real dates on it aren't coming from Washington at all. Red 40. Allura Red, the most used certified color in the United States. Not close. Cereal, candy, sports drinks, sodas, fruit snacks, gelatin, frosting, toaster pastries, condiments, flavored yogurt, and flavored milk. If something in your house is red, pink, or purple, and it isn't naturally that color, this is usually why. Red 40 is not banned federally. No proposed rule, no compliance date, fully authorized this morning. Now the states walk into the room. And this is the part almost nobody covers. The states are where the actual dates are. California, September 2024. 6 synthetic dyes, blue 1, blue 2, green 3, red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, out of public school food. California, separately, the Food Safety Act of 2023. 4 substances banned outright in food sold in the state. Red 3, brominated vegetable oil, potassium bromate, and propylparaben. Effective January 1st, 2027. Every one of those 4 is still allowed at the federal level. West Virginia went furthest. March 2025, the broadest state dye law in the country, 7 dyes. School provisions took effect August 1st, 2025. The statewide retail provisions were set for January 1st, 2028, and a federal judge issued a preliminary injunction in December of 2025, blocking that part while the case proceeds. The school part stayed in force. Utah passed a school law in 2025. New York passed a bill this spring sitting on the governor's desk. More than 37 states introduced something in 2025 alone. Look at what that means. Every enforceable date on Red 40 in this country comes from a state legislature. Not one comes from Washington. And that's a strange thing for a man who ran a grocery store to say, because it means a box of cereal can be legal in Ohio and illegal in California on the same morning. Companies don't run 2 production lines for that. They reformulate everything and ship it everywhere. So state laws are going to change what's in your box in Ohio. Ohio just won't be the reason. Which brings me to number 1. And number 1 isn't a dye. Everything I've told you was pointing here. Now go get a box. Any box. Cereal is best. Look at the front. You're looking for a little burst or banner, usually up in a corner. No artificial colors. That phrase is the thing you actually need to understand, and it's why I made this video. In February of 2026, the Environmental Working Group publicly called the FDA's direction on this a retreat. What they were pointing at wasn't a dye. It was a labeling policy shift, one that lets companies make a no artificial colors claim without necessarily changing what's in the formula. I'm going to say the careful version because I won't overstate it and neither should you. What's at issue is how tightly that claim is defined and enforced. A front-of-package claim is not the ingredient list. It never was. It has never been held to the same standard, and it isn't now. Here's the practical version, and this is the one that matters at the shelf. The front of the box is marketing. The back of the box is a legal document. The front is where a company tells you what it wants you to believe. The back is where it's required to tell you what's in it. Two different pieces of paper, same box. I sold groceries for 40 years, and I'll tell you what changed most in that time. It wasn't mainly the food, it was the front of the package. The front got louder. Bigger, more confident, it started making promises the back never had to keep. That's how it always happens, friend. Not with a ban. With a claim. Most people will tell you the answer here is to read the ingredient list. That's the easy half, and honestly, it barely counts. Nobody is hiding Red 40. It's printed right there in plain English. Turn the box over, look for a color with a number after it, and you found it in 4 seconds. A number after a color is the tell. Beet juice has no number. Turmeric has no number. Paprika extract has no number. Spirulina has no number. The number is there because that substance had to be certified batch by a federal agency. The number is the certification. Fine. That's step 1, and it's not why you watch this. Here's step 2, and this is the part nobody's going to tell you. After January 2027, the ingredient list stops being the useful number. The date code does. Remember what we established. Product manufactured before that morning stays legal forever. There's no recall. Nothing gets pulled. A company can run Red 3 up to the last legal day, warehouse it, and ship it for 2 more years. So the day that deadline passes, a bag of candy with Red 3 in it tells you nothing on its own. It could be a violation. It could be legal old stock. The best buy date is what separates them. Find it. It's stamped, not printed, usually on the bottom seam, the back of the panel, or crimped into the top of a bag. Then do the arithmetic backward. Shelf-stable candy runs about 12 to 18 months. Cereal, 6 to 9. Frosting, 12 to 18. A best buy that's far out means it was made recently. A best buy that's coming up soon means it's been sitting somewhere. After January 2027, Red 3 plus a near best by date means you're holding inventory that was manufactured before the window closed. It's legal. It's also 2 years old. That's the number that matters, friend, not the one in the ingredient list, the one stamped on the seam, and one more which takes 4 seconds. If the front of the box says no artificial colors, check the back anyway, every time. If the list is clean, good, the claim held. If it isn't, you just learned something about that company no press release will ever tell you. That's the whole method. You don't need me for it after today. The honest picture, not the loud one. Something real is happening. More than 20 of the largest food companies in this country are reformulating products they haven't touched in decades. Mars rebuilt 300 machines and still couldn't put a blue M&M in the bag this month. That's real money and real effort. And at the same time, the thing you were told happened did not happen. One die has a rule. 6 got a letter. The enforceable dates come from state capitals, and one of the biggest is currently frozen in court. Both true at once. That's usually how it goes. Somebody sat in a room and decided which of those 2 stories you'd hear. There are no minutes of that meeting. There don't have to be. But you don't need the meeting. You've got the box. I put these on the shelf myself, 40 years, never turned one over. Nobody asked me to, and nobody asked you either. That is not on you. Now, if there's somebody in your life who bought the dye-free version last month and thinks they're done, send them this. They're the one who needs the back of the box, not the front. Read the front, then read the list.